Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 615. Today we'll be doing battle with the Reaper in Backpack Battles. And so it's a new and fresh week here in Backpack Battles. No patch this week. It sounds like there's a lot of big things happening over on the beta branch, but for the main release, nothing going on. And we're going to be playing with the Sack of Surprises again this week. It's been interesting to me with the Sack. We played the Sack of Surprises on the Berserker all last week, and a lot of the builds just kind of turn out the same regardless of the bag that you turn up with. It's kind of reductive, right? There's definite play and optimizations to be made around the battle rage, hitting near the beginning of the battle or near the end, but it's very and wildly different between what the Reaper is trying to do between the storage coffin and the relic case, and so hopefully that brings up some interesting points as the week progresses. But let's hit that start button, new ranked game, jump on in, see what turns up, and a gemstone case right out the gates with the poison case. And so very interesting. It to me, doesn't necessarily just like force you into a build, but the things I've been doing a lot of with the Reaper these days are going towards a gemstone box so that we can combine it into like the King Goobert. And so we're going to try and get this thing and put the crown on it. Like we'll do that pretty much every single game if we can. But if we end up going into like the Snecko pet build, then getting that King Goobert online is kind of nice. And so it'll be interesting to see if that comes together. Also does work nicely with the vampiric builds with the red gems giving you amplification onto your vampirism coming off of the lock lifter, whatever it's called, and then it also loved the purple gems regardless of the build. And so it's not something I'm jazzed about as our opener, right? It doesn't play well on the storage coffin, doesn't do anything there. It's expensive as far as the game's concerned. This is a 5 gold item, but we'll try to make the most out of it. Otherwise, happy enough to start with a broom and a whetstone. I do find myself trying to build lots of falcon blades with the Reaper, so the whetstone kind of starts are nice. Otherwise, I'm just going to go ahead and take another roll, see if we can't find something a little bit more on theme with what we're doing. And so on sale healing herbs is good. The piggy bank is fine. This does all kind of lend itself to a vampiric style of build, and we'll pick up this stone because it's on sale. And so not the most amazing round one. We could certainly do better. We could get a better weapon or have some better sustain, but it's not a complete disaster that you can run into with these Sack of Surprises starts. Typically looking to start more like Paul has started here, right? You have a short sword upgrading to torch with a couple of defensive items, and so we didn't quite get a start like that. Looks like we're actually out the gates and doing well here, and so we might get a nice takedown here round one, even with the kind of suboptimal start. And so good stuff there. It is worth noting that with the Reaper, in these early rounds, you tend to just want to not die, right? A lot of these battles in this patch just go to fatigue every single time. And then in fatigue, somebody eventually drains out whoever has the least amount of sustain. But taking the storage coffin into fatigue, you typically have like 4 or 5 poison on the opponent, and you tend to just be at a super big advantage if you can get that far. And so we'll see if that plays itself out at any point throughout the day today. But here, definitely want the bag. I'm okay to make a shovel. It's not spectacular with our start not having any food, but it's still a reasonably strong item, so we'll add it in. And I do want to pick up this flawed amethyst. I like these early game gems. It gives us a lot of power with that healing reduction that comes out of it. And so powerful stuff there. See if we can't get this bag organized to work a little bit better with the piggy bank. Gotta get all of the values out of there, right? Got 2 activators on the piggy bank now. That looks great. Load these gems up in the weapons. Who do we want this to be on? We probably just want the stronger gem on the faster one at this point, so we'll swap them around real quick. Not really worried about picking up mana at this point. Doesn't do anything, and so looks good to me. Look at this guy. Look at this guy hitting the old wand combine on turn 1. It's probably enough to take us down even without hitting any of the mana bonuses in there. Very strong combination out of his Sack of Surprises. Okay, so what do we got here? Not too interested in chipped topaz at this point. Like I want to find items to make a falcon blade if they want to lend themselves to what we're doing, and I want to come in and try and pick up something defensive. And so the banana kind of plays to that, but this is more of a support style item to me. I don't think we need it right out the gates. So I'm just going to take a roll here. It is worth noting as the hammer turns up. I think I did a video on this once to where we were loading the chipped sapphires into our weapons as a means to be generating debuffs for the opponent. So we'd be inflicting poisons and inflicting frosts with the chipped sapphires and then trying to use the cursed dagger and the hammers and stuff. It's a nice thought exercise, but not very good. And so interesting stuff there. But all right, let's move forward. We got a bag. That looks good. I think we might end up doing vampiric stuff, so we'll pick up the healing herbs. A one-cost blueberries is a decent deal. It doesn't do spectacularly with what we have here, but it does give us some activations onto the storage coffin. And we can get a few more things in the old bag here. What does this do? And the thing just inflicts the colds, inflicts the chills. Sure. Why not? Yeah, we'll just keep it like this. Okay, looks good to me. Good as it's going to get, huh? No need to roll here. No reason for that. All right, reasonable upgrades on the old Berserker here. I'm curious. See, this is the kind of round to where I don't think he's going to be able to deal enough damage to us, right? I feel like we're going to go to fatigue and both just be at full health, and then we'll be able to take it down off of those poisons that we've dealt. Like, this is what I was talking about, to where if you typically just don't lose, you'll win. We should be at a fairly even health total. He had a little bit of armor coming out of that battle rage, and then we barely took it down at the end. We don't have a ton of activators in our bag, so we only had 3 poison there at the end, but I think the idea is still reasonable. Okay, so power on, power forward. There is a leather armor. If we're going to go towards poison, then we want to pick up the leather armor. I'm willing to kind of just give it a round here. I'm happy to pick up this whetstone, but I want to get higher quality stuff in here. We just have a lot of garbage hanging out in our bag at the moment that I would like to improve on. Picked up a wooden sword here. We can turn that into hero sword. That's definitely going to be an addition for the round. And then I think we'll go ahead and pick up the leather bag. We're kind of bag heavy at the moment. We're going to have a lot of space as far as the round is concerned, but if we do want to start in like adding in an armor or something, we're going to want the space out of this. I think we'll just sell the stone to pick this up so that we get the roll out of the round next turn. Okay, so get the good gems into the sapphire. Want the blueberries in the bag. That looks good. Can do something like this with the pig, so it's going to get 3 activations. Get us that big ol' extra 2 health for the round. Let's start off the battle. Okay. So this guy has the same idea, right? But he's not generating any poison. I'm curious to see how this plays out with his empowereds building up, because he should get a lot of empowered in the early game. We aren't dealing a ton of damage in the early rounds, especially against his 8 hearts that he has. We got 7 poison at this point. Not enough to outdamage his hearts. Womp, sad noise. All right, what do we got here? Coming to pick up the Blood Harvester. We could most certainly just delve right into a poison-based build with this thing, and I'm not opposed to it. I don't quite remember how the Blood Harvester interacts with the relic, the storage coffin. It's tough for me to remember as we play like a class a week. Like, we haven't played the Reaper in 4 weeks since I've been big into it. As to how well this fits in terms of stamina, right? This is a very super low stamina cost item at only 0.1. And so I think that we can still carry like Hero Sword, Blood Harvester, and then come in to pick up a vampiric item as well. Let's add this thing in. Definitely want the speed bag. And then there is this on sale bag of stones, which I'm not opposed to picking up at the moment, right? We do have these 2 stones that we're kind of kicking around at the moment. And so I think that'll be worthwhile. At least for a round or two, right? We don't need to keep it forever, but it doesn't sound terrible at the moment. I mean, look at this. This blood harvester has an ass load of gem slots in it. That's kind of neat. I appreciate that. So let's see. Can we just move this whole thing over? Right. We don't need a we realistically only need the one item in the harvester at the moment, and then we should be able to get a big old bunch of activations on our items this round. Just really start dropping in the poisons. What do we need? We need one more gold. Fine. Alright, something like this seems kind of reasonable. Got the stones generating in here, all of the weapons in here. I guess... Here, let's actually do this. Let's just get the better value out of the stones. We'll lose out on one storage coffin, but give him the bonus damage off the hero sword. Sounds legit. Okay. Off to battle. This is what I was expecting as the battle started on our our hero sword stone round. Just locking up the storage case. Oh, this guy was coming out blazing. Jesus. Got to pick up some defensives, I guess. Holy shit, the stones came through at the end of the day. We snuck down to 0 health almost, and that guy ran out of stamina. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. So, okay, powerful stuff here in the Thorn Whip. Not opposed to picking that up. We do want to have the Bloodthorn as our kind of premier attacky weapon. That's going to be the best vampiric thing that we're going to be doing. And so that gets us halfway there. This is a reasonable time to sell off the shovel, I guess. So Thorn Whip comes in. Not opposed to picking up like the shield this kind of late, potentially making the Thorn Shield, but our chances of finding the like spike is pretty low at this point. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and skip past that. All right, good stuff here, though. We got another bag. Do we need the bag this round? Let's see. We can fit the Thorn Whip in. It's always an awkward item to get up and running. That's reasonable. We got 2 hexes left if we want to pick up the gloves here. Then we can just get the leather bag next round. Okay. Looks reasonable. Oh, this blood harvester has a shit cooldown if you don't have the you don't have any vampirics. It's going to take a while to get up and running. But looks strong. I bet we start to run out of stamina at this point, having the gloves of haste and on the Thorn Whip. But we at least get some of that consistent damage coming out of the stones. Get those activations on our coffin. Doing pretty decent here. Got him. Okay, I like it. And so let's add in the bag. Not too interested in this other stuff. I like mana orbs eventually when we need the mana to go invulnerable, but this is a little too early. Doesn't seem like dragons are really going to be in the mix as well, so we'll skip past the deck of cards, just get to rolling here. As soon as we say it, the dragon turns up, but I don't think we'll be doing dragon builds. I'm not like opposed to adding in dragons, right? If you look at the lock lifter, where are we at? Reaper class. The shaping on the lock lifter does mean that we can get a dragon in that lifesteal space, and so it's not a terrible thing to have access to. My kind of concern at this point is we're building towards a lot of stuff, right? We're building towards a hero sword. We're building towards a bloodthorn. We have some just kind of garbagey, good in the early game, not good in the mid to late game stuff with these stones, and we don't have anything really defensive. And so if we were more balanced at this point, I think the ruby egg would be okay. But with how our build is at the moment, I think we need to skip past it. We need to find that bloodthorn. We need to find the gloves. We need to find a defensive, and the egg is just too greedy. We'll pick up this green gem though. Those hearts will be nice if we find the weapons we need. So we've got that. Nothing really of note here. We'll take the 1 mana amethyst because we can just sell it if we need to. Really looking for the upgrades. I want to keep rolling before these things get harder to find. Just didn't turn up. It's a bummer. All right, well, I guess just be bummed. That's what more can you do? What more can you do? All right, maybe do something like this. Could put a lock on the onto the fanny pack just to make sure that we have some more bags coming in for the next round. We don't exactly need it at this point, but at the end of the day, we'll probably want one. All right, this dude can definitely outscale us. No way we're going to outscale a torch and a lantern. We got to try and take this one down fast. I don't think we're going to get there. Glad we at least spent all of our stamina, but didn't feel real great about the build coming together. So, all right, vampiric stuff coming in. Here's the fanny pack. A 1-mana gem is fine. Take the roll. Gotta find those things we need. Not opposed to prismatic orbs, but again, like we gotta find the core pieces of the build that just aren't here yet. There's a bag. We gotta skip. No gloves. No, we really need that sword. Here's the hungry blade. All right, that's the big part. And then the gloves of haste turns up as well. Beautiful. And so let's just take this round to upgrade, right? I think I'm good to get rid of these stones. It's probably about time to get rid of the piggy bank. It's just going to be a little bit too greedy. And then we're going to get aced this round in terms of stamina. there's just no real way around it. And so I'm fine with that. You know, we have to play around to where things will ideally pay off for this, and we'll just have to wait until next round for that. And so this is fine. Just take the double upgrades. I mean, it's not like a guaranteed loss, right? We can still definitely win the round. We're just going to be stamina'd right out at the beginning, and so kind of a pain point. I saw his health go down to half, and I was like, "Shit, yeah, we really blasted him right here in the beginning." And it was the lantern. Whoops. All right, well, we got a ton of vampiric. I mean, if he's not going to actually deal any real damage, we might have a shot. LOL, we won the round. That's what you like to see. That's what you like to see. Good stuff. And so definitely glad to get these upgrades out here in a part of the battle. I'm not entirely certain how we want our vampiric thing to look. Like out the gates, it would probably be something like this. So the other option is getting the Falcon Blade kind of out here, and then I think we can rotate around the bigger thing. How do we want this to go? I don't care so much about the like hitting these diamond nodes. The thing that's just that sucks here is we do want to get both the lock lifter and the maybe that's it. I was gonna say we want to get both the lock lifter and the bloodthorn within the blood harvester so that we get all of those extra vampirics. And so that actually looks good. I think this is how we want this to be, right? We've got all 3 of our weapons in the lock lifter, 2 of which are hitting on diamonds for those extra little bonuses. And then we've got the Falcon Blade hitting all of the weapons, and then still have some extra Falcon Blade hexes. I like it. That looks good. That's a nice core for what we're trying to do here. And so let's see. Let's pick up this speed bag. These weapons, we'll move these speed bags to the back so that our weapons are getting the stronger hits. And then we just need to find defensive stuff at this point, right? Things that generate hearts, and then like armor of some sort. And so let's move in. Like I'm kind of tempted to pick up the Goobert since we are at this mode to where we just want defensive stuff. Just going ahead and trying to build towards the king right now isn't ridiculous, I think. So it's like we could pick up the Goobert, we can pick up the blueberries. And so now we have some mana generation out here. Okay, I don't hate it. think we'll do something like this. As far as the speed bags are concerned. See if we can see if I can remember how this stuff is supposed to be set up. The dangers of rearranging. Alright, that looks decent, right? This in here, we can get the Goobert out in front of the Falcon Blade. That looks nice. We have a handful of foods that we can put out here. I think I would rather just have the foods on the Goobert as opposed to the storage coffin. Then do we have any other upgrades? All right, so yeah, looks decent. The only thing I'll say here is I do want to get these chipped rubies in armor, and I want to get these amethysts in armor. That's going to be one of kind of like the real cores of having all of these gemstones. So they aren't really in optimal places at the moment, but hopefully we can get that moved around. Probably not. Probably should have put the better gems in the Falcon Blade as well, but we'll make the most of it. All right, got there. That stamina, non-existent. And so do we want to take the Wolpentinger to fix the stamina? Like, I feel like we've just been so super greedy this game in literally everything we're doing. But, you know, it does fix the stamina. Also a flawed topaz in here to potentially help with that as well. You know what? Fuck it. Maybe we just lock the Wolpentinger, pick up the topaz, and then take a roll. All right, how's that? 24 if we want all that. What do we get next round? 18? Our 13 plus 5? Oh, we're getting so greedy. So greedy. All right, well, something like this, I guess. We get this flawed topaz is doing the work as far as fixing our stamina. So greedy. All right, I'm in. just hit him hard and hit him fast, you know. We gotta pick up that Wolpentinger. I think that's the answer. Like our armor is non-existent at this point, but oh, what a pickup! What a choice pickup with the glowing crown turning up. That's just absolutely perfect at this point. And so, glowing crown we can afford. The Wolpentinger we can afford. Oh man, you know what they say. You know what they say. Better lucky than good. That's all you need sometimes, right? So let's see. Let's get the good armor shred on the crown. We have a better gem to put on our Falcon Blade. Just a small rearrange in there. Definitely don't want to be putting attack speed out of that flawed topaz. Okay, looks good. Better lucky than good. One of my favorite quotes from Phil Hellmuth, if you were alive back in poker's popular days, was he was on one of the late night shows to where it's usually like 4 pros and then 2 rich people or 2 like amateurs that are given a bunch of money, and Phil Hellmuth is just getting reamed by the amateurs, and he says, I guess if luck wasn't involved, I would just win every time. And I love it. It's my mantra for life as far as gaming goes. It's never about playing well. It's just it's all luck, right? If luck wasn't involved, I guess I'd win every time. Fucking insane. Insane take. Not for him. I mean, he is absurdly good at poker. It was interesting with Phil Hellmuth because as the poker boom really hit, and the internet players just got ridiculously good so super fast. Like historically, the way you get good at poker is you just have to play a ton of hands, and the limiting factor in playing a ton of hands is you're sitting there at like a physical table in a casino playing like at a max 25 hands an hour. And so if you go and play 8 hours a day, you're going to see like 200 hands. And that doesn't even count the times to where there's a slow dealer change or an issue or people like getting drunk watching a game or like your table breaks. You know, like getting that 200 hands in is like an absurdity, but you could do that in a half hour playing online. And so these people just literally played millions and millions and millions of hands that used to take you like 30 years to do, that they were doing in the matter of under a year. And it was so ridiculous how quick people got good at poker once online poker hit. But I forget where that tangent came from, so we'll just move on. Just move on. I'm sure it was relevant to Backpack Battles. Oh no, it was Phil Hellmuth. Phil Hellmuth is easily one of the greatest players of all time, but people talk trash about him not being that good, which is absurd. He's won just about every major tournament there is, and is one of the biggest cash game players in the world. But people talk a lot of trash about Phil. All right. Let's focus back on here. Happy enough to pick up the Capper Resilience. It does a little bit of everything that we want to do, right? Gives us the way to not just get crit out of the early game battles. We're upgrading our Goobert here. I do want to move the regular Amethyst over to the Crown, but the Crown is currently upgrading at the moment, so I think that's okay as is. And then we're getting, kind of running out of gems out here. It's not the end of the world. We don't have to be, super gemmed up at this point, but we won't be getting any more gems as far as the game's concerned. Oh god, I'm interested to see how the mana goes. We didn't get completely blasted out of the early game. We did manage to activate the Crown, and then knowing that we get 3 activations once we get the King Goobert, I'm curious to see how that goes. We're sitting on 10 mana right now, and so the possibility to hit it is there, but we do want a little bit more mana generation. Okay, good to know. Stamina was bad too. I'm happy with how our sustain went that round, though. Went pretty reasonably. It is a nice combo as well with the invulnerability from the King Gooberts and then the Vampirics, just generating you back a bunch of the health while you're invulnerable. But all right, pick up a stamina sack, feels good. None of this stuff. I guess the Toad is little interesting in the sense that it's a pet to make the Wulpentinger better. It gives us a little bit of mana, and then it multi-activates on the King Goobert. Kind of interested in picking that up, and I'm kind of interested in shifting everything over 1 hex so that we can get our King Goobert, or we can get 2 hexes to the right of the King Goobert. And so let's see how we can manage this in an optimal amount of time. That looks kind of okay. Let's just do this. I can tell that another rearrange is going to be in our near future, but this seems like it's the makings of a decent setup. I guess if we're going to be putting the Wulpentinger out here to the edge, then he can get some bonuses that way. Okay. We'll get the frog in there. Only a minor activation left on the Goobert. I think that's okay. We shouldn't really struggle to get a bunch of activations out of this, especially with the Falcon Blade lined up on it. This is about as good as it's going to go. Okay. The makings of something. What do we got? The true vampire out here, huh? The other version of healing stuff. The healing ranger out here doing vampire things. Oh, he just popped something and got like 1,000,000 buffs. I didn't see what that actually was. He doesn't have the mana orb. Seems like we're holding out okay, and it also helps that we have massive healing shred. All right, good stuff. And speaking of the mana orb, more than happy to add that in this condition right now. We're really heavy on bag space at the moment, so I'll skip past the potion belt, but I will pick up the protective purse. Again, really just kind of Looking for armor-based stuff here at this point. I definitely want to make the Cap of Discomfort. Kind of interested in the Holy Armor just to make sure that we get more armors, right? We don't have any at the current moment. Let's see. Got the activations here on the Goobert. Good enough activations on the Mana Orb. That looks good. I wouldn't be surprised if we even hit with like the double activations from the Falcon Blade. I wouldn't be surprised if we hit like the 60 mana to do the 3 activations on the Goobert and the Mana Orb. Maybe that's dreaming too big, but seems on the table. Alright, Dragon Boy, what you got? Out of stamina, the story of our lives. Good deal. Let's hit that survival mode. We seem pretty strong at this point, right? As we're moving in, we don't need like item combo upgrades, right? We don't need to find an item to make the Falcon Blade to pop off to where we have to find the item and wait around. Like, I think everything is good in that sense. So let's add in this Holy Armor. Can we get this thing to fit? It is something good to put down here at the bottom, right? We can keep getting the continual activations off of the Holy Armor to activate the Goobert. So that looks good. Oops, should have moved that healing gem over to the Goobert. That's fine. Like, where did all of our gems go? They're just completely gone at this point, huh? Let's move the emerald onto the Falcon Blade. The poison hits are probably better at this point than the just the 4 hearts that we get out of it. I won't load up the Flawed Topaz though. We'll keep it for stamina since our stamina is still such a shit show. And then I've locked in the Toad up here at the top, a little bit better for the Wolpentinger. Gives us a nice bonus on the for mana for the King Goobert as well. And then one of the kind of interesting things is as we do grow a bunch of Vampiric, a bunch of Luck, and then a bunch of mana, the Wolpentinger does start to activate the good the good buffs. And so it's an interesting little synergy as you're generating those things out. Seems like we're scaling up enough. Good deal. Got him up to 38 poison as well. Nice big number. So, all right, yeah, picking up the pet. Do we want a blood amulet at this point? Do we have any decent locations for it? Not really. But what else are we going to add? We need stamina stuff. We should probably just be like rolling for potions at this point or something. Like this guy, right? Pick up the heroic. Not opposed to a Shield of Valor next round. Alright, seems legit. 3 rounds to go. I wanted to see if we could make a super stamina potion or something, but seems okay. This dude got the poisons down fast, but all of his potions are zinged at this point. Got him. Okay. So yeah, got the shield. Got the stamina sack. Start picking up that better late than never defense out here. That looks good. I think I'd rather have blueberries than these random healing herbs, so we'll pull them for the moment. I'm kind of tempted to just snatch up this other Cap of Resilience. I guess our problems, we don't really scale. That's the only thing I have to, we did pass on what you called like the oil lamps that would make our damage scaling go up. Like the only damage scaling we have is the Bloodthorn generating bonuses, right? He generates the Vampiric, kind of like the Wolpentinger feeds into it, but we don't have any big scaling at this point. Anyway, I'll pass on it. So I guess stamina is probably the issue as we run into the big crit build. I mean, the Goobert's staying fed, right? That's the big thing in that round. Good stuff. Good job, my dude. Okay, what do we got? One round left. One left. And so the ideal thing would be like a glowing crown so we get more invulnerables. Otherwise, something to just give us stamina. Prismatic orb wouldn't be a bad addition. All right, let's just go with that. Shit. So without putting a ton of work into it, this is probably about as good as it's going to get. It'll hit the bonus off the Blood Harvester. It hits 3 Vampirics along with 1 magic along the way. Not too much more we could really ask for at this point. Like we could move the Cap of Discomfort down for 1 buff. I don't know. There might be a decent rearrange in here, but I'm happy enough with what this orb is going to give us here. 3 Vampiric and 1 magic. That's very reasonable for the final round when you can't combine anything and you don't want to dig too deep because you just run out of money. All right, let's see if old Platin Martin, aka Phil Hellmuth here, take down our build with the cards. We definitely survived the cards. That feels good. I think we should be in good shape here. All right. Zingdom good, Zingdom hard. Victory unlocked for old Bust here. GG, well played. And so, yeah, not a bad day, not a bad run. I like how things went here for the most part. We didn't... go like super maximal with this build in the sense that our armor is kind of meh and we didn't have enough stamina stuff and we don't really have any scaling, but this is kind of how a lot of my games with the Reaper kind of branch out in the sense that I like to build the King Crowns. Building it into King Goobert is good. I put Falcon Blade in pretty much all of our builds, and it's just a matter of kind of navigating that early game, picking up enough defensive to not just get completely annihilated, and just kind of having the targets that you want to come in and build up these things. I mean, it could have definitely cycled in a different way if we didn't come on this Blood Harvester early, but I think the Falcon Blades, what we're going to see in a lot of these builds over the course of this week, and we're going to have a lot of these King Crown, King Goobert kind of builds and trying to maximize gems along the way. But nonetheless, good stuff. I had fun with that run. I hope you did too, because that is going to do it for us today. So if everyone enjoyed the video, hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way. You had a good time watching. This is Bust and me. Thank you for being here.